Okay, so I'm here with Brett Olson, insurance industry success story and author of From Zero to Hero, Breaking Through the Barriers to Success. Brett, I've read your book. It was a good book. I liked it. My history obviously is in the P&C industry. Your history is in the life insurance industry. So I'm excited to talk with you here today because that's every P&C agent's dream, right? Is to expand their life book. But thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
You betcha.
So I want to hear, because this segment is all about insurance industry success stories. So I want to hear, and like I said, I've read your book. It's great. It's available on Amazon. I recommend it. But I want to hear about your story for people who haven't read it. How did you stumble across the insurance industry, right? Because most of us don't grow up thinking that we want to be in insurance, but we just kind of end up here. And a lot of us that do are glad that we did. And I think that's probably similar to your story. Is that right?
Yes. In fact, there's two things that I never expected. One, being in this business, and two, being in Arizona. So a quick story for both is that my wife's aunt had bought a voicemail franchise and said, "You got to meet this guy." And I was introduced to this guy, and he interviewed Barbara and I for a job at that voicemail company. Shortly thereafter, we worked for about 3 years together. He was being recruited and sought after because he had come from the insurance industry, and this guy wanted him to come in and run his business. And so we started talking, and he says, "You know what, you and another guy I'd like to bring with me, but let's go out and look and see what could be a business that we could do together that could really make us some big money." Mm-hmm. And after exploring different options over that 3-year period of time, we went back and he was brought onto the company and led a company that provided appointments, or actually leads at the time, for variable universal life and variable annuity products. Those were the two specific products that we were marketing to the business owner and residential consumer that needed to have help in a space where they could accumulate money for retirement purposes, that they could use a tax-free, benefit-free, and have life insurance as a combination product that would help them accumulate money and get a much higher rate of return on that money. We did that for about 7 years, build up a successful business, and then Index Universal Life came onto the scene. The company we were with wasn't interested in moving away from the variable side of the business, and we began working in the space of indexed products, both Index Universal Life and indexed annuities. And at that point in time, it was Christmas of, I want to say, if my memory serves me right, I think that it was about 2003. Could be wrong on that date, but Christmas that year. And I met with him, and he introduced me to what we were going to do as our next business venture together. And at that point in time, I wasn't sure that I was going to even continue in the business at that point in time. And that was a launching pad to...
Real quick, what was making you think I might not keep doing this? What were the driving factors behind that potential decision that you didn't make?
The number one reason is that what I didn't mention there is that the person that was funding our lead program had come to us about a year before that and said, "We can't continue to fund your business." And when that happened, he says, "But I would like you to build your business in this manner." We had built many offices nationwide, and we lost about 75% of those. And because our company was not being funded by the lead source anymore, we didn't have the juice to be able to provide the appointments that created who we were up to that point in time. And we were building our book of business the traditional way. And it just was not a fun for me. It was a grind for me. And between October to December, had made my own mind up that potentially I was going to be looking for something else to do.
Okay. So you made the decision to stick with it. What was the motivating factor behind that decision?
The 10 key things that my partner agreed that we were going to do with our new business, and that we were going to do it ourselves and build the business back again to the way we had it before. And not only did we do that, but we built 80 offices nationwide using index-based products with appointments to the business owner and individual consumers, the residential market. And we ran a very successful operation up until about 2013, I would say.
Okay. And what happened in 2013?
We had one of our major carriers that was like family to us sold off, and that company that sold off decided that they just wanted to go into the annuity space. And so then they sold their life portion of their business. We had a lot of business with both sides, but the life portion got sold to a Wall Street firm. And I'm sure you're familiar with them. But based upon that, they opened up a retail front that was brand new to their space, and they couldn't even produce a commission statement for months.
Oh, boy.
And so we lost most of those 80 offices and had to pretty much rebuild again for a third time. And we've done that since then. In between that period of time, I bought out that partner and another partner, and I'm now the CEO of that same company. I've been doing it now for 30 years, and we're now in the space to where we provide preset appointments. We have all of the infrastructure that we build up over that 30-year period of time, starting with a telephone marketer prior to computers even, that used a ruler out of the yellow pages to cold call and set appointments, all the way till today. We in between, you would mail out our appointments to each of our regions. They would get them and hand them out in a sales meeting. And now with the age of technology and computers, each of our agents are assigned 8 to 12 appointments per week. They go into their portal, pick those up based upon the times and dates that are available on their schedule. And we primarily are meeting with teachers and state employees that have a pension, and we're helping them fill that income gap. And we do that with alternative products, as well as we have our own insurance, indexed annuities and life products that we help those clients with as well too.
Sure. So basically the 30,000 foot view of your guys' business then is that you take, like a teacher or somebody that was like, okay, I've got my pension that I'm going to make X amount on probably when I retire. I've got, Social Security, hopefully, that I'm going to make, X amount on when I retire. And then, this is the gap that I need to fill. And you guys utilize life insurance products that will build cash value and, as an investment vehicle for them to draw off of when they hit that retirement age. Is that
right? And then all of their qualified and Roth monies roll over into either accumulation or income index-based annuity products that we help them with as well too.
Sure. So going back, what did you do? What was your last job you had before insurance?
That voicemail company. I was the director of sales, and we would travel around the country and set up voicemail systems that then those companies would either partner with the different telco companies and provide if you remember, the voice mailboxes that a person could attach to their phone, and they would be able to receive and send messages. And in a corporate office, that's were the beginnings of how they could share messages between employees.
Sure. So let's back up beyond that, because one of the things that stuck out to me in your book, and maybe this is not something I'm not trying to ambush you here, but it's in your book, so it's obviously something that you're not totally ashamed of talking about. But I thought it was interesting because I think the reason that a lot of new agents go, you know what, I can't do this, is because of the challenges that every new agent faces when you're coming in, right? So there was a nickname that they had for you. Tell me about that. Tell me about that story, because I think maybe this is even when you first came into sales. Is that when that nickname came about? And do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So right off the bat, the nickname that my partner gave me was the monotone daggum crybaby.
There you go. That was it. I didn't want to mess it up, so I didn't want to try and spitball for what it was there. So the monotone daggum crybaby. Why? Tell me how did that happen? Because you were doing something else before.
Yeah, I was a stockbroker.
Very first married.
Yeah.
And you were, what were you doing?
Stockbroker.
You're a stockbroker. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So a church member had gotten me into that industry, and that's what I thought I was going to do for my entire career. In fact, that's where I was recruited away from to meet my future partner. Mm-hmm. So what happened was in the beginning, I could not sell my way out of a wet paper bag.
Right.
And what happened was there were many times that I would sit down with my partner, my mentor, and say, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. In fact, a defining moment of my life was Thanksgiving night. I was ready to hang it up. Mm-hmm. And he spent about 3 hours with me on the phone and convinced me to move forward with it, and that I would be able to, and that I had the tools and the ability to do this. You're not born to be in sales. Nobody is. It's a learned trait, no matter what anybody tells you. Anybody can be successful at this.
Yeah.
And some people just have a harder time and have to work at it. Right. It's just like a natural born athlete. A natural born athlete sometimes is a curse, not a blessing. And the reason why I say that is because if you've been in sports at all, you know, when you were growing up, those people that just could pick up a bat and turn anything into a home run and catch any ball, but they would get bored and tired of it. For me, it was something I had to work at. And still to this day, if I don't have somebody that I can go to and turn to coach me in this business, I'll revert back to, because I have to work at everything that I do to be successful. Most things do not come very easy to me at all. And so because of that, I just have to work harder than everybody else. But because of that, I turned that weakness into a strength, and it's allowed me to then outperform even the best of people.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. No, and I totally agree with that. And I think that's that stage where you almost gave up. What do you think your life would be like today if you'd given up that night? Thanksgiving. What year was it?
Probably around that same 03.
03. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm done. What did you have a plan on what you were going to do?
No plan. None.
No plan. Yeah.
Yep. I'm kind of in the same boat today. I mean, if I were to do something else, I have no clue what I would do. In the 30 years, that's probably one of the, that's my curse and success is that I don't have an exit strategy. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like, Cortez, he burned the ships behind him, and there is only one option. This is what I've been good at. It's paid me extremely well. And I would have to say that I owe it all to my mentor. If it weren't for him, I don't know what I'd be doing, but I definitely would not have the life and the experiences and the world travel that I've experienced. and all of the niceties that this business has afforded me if it weren't for him and that his stick-to-itiveness of helping me be successful.
Sure.
One more quick story.
Yeah.
We call it this old desk.
Mm-hmm.
There in his first home, we would meet around this desk every Friday and do what we called stand-up sit-downs. There were 3 of us, and it was all for what production we wrote that week. And the last person standing was the winner that week. Well, these 2 other guys were way, way better than I was. And it took me weeks, maybe months, before I even could think that I even had a chance to compete with them. And I do believe it was weeks. Within weeks, all of a sudden I came in and I beat one of the guys. And then weeks later, I even could compete against my mentor. And what was interesting is that because of that competition, that inward desire that I've always had, that I wanted to be the best, that I wanted to be recognized for that, that's one of my biggest attributes, almost more than the money that it makes me. But because of that I think is what's afforded me not to just turn this into a job, because a job is just over broke, and just make the amount of money that you needed to every week. But because I was always there to compete and be the best, the money just was always there. And so it was never about the money because of that old desk and the competition that was created starting then and then grew into trips and awards and, everything else that the company did at annual conventions for us, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So when you guys initially formed, you were part owner at that time?
I was a founder, but he did not want a partner. And so I came in as an agent, and then that's the rest of the story. Is we were in Utah at the time, and we worked together for about 3 years, and I opened up the first office. And I looked at a map on the United States. In fact, I was seeing yours underneath your email there, and I just went and I chose Arizona. Had a brother-in-law that lived down here, knew nothing about Arizona, never had been there, never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever be there. And 27 years later, I'm still here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's I've seen personally, some of the fruits of your labor, right? You've got whose fish tank is in your living room?
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal's.
Shaquille O'Neal's fish tank is in Brett Olson's living room, and that's a whole nother story. It's a beautiful fish tank. It's huge. In fact, I don't know that I've ever seen a fish tank in a residence bigger than yours. It's really, really cool. And actually, so I came over one night for a game night that you hosted. And I think your house is the first house in a really long time where I went to go to the bathroom. And then it was either when I was going or I was coming back, I was like, wait, where am I at? Which way do I turn? And I think that's the vision that we try and, for people that are listening to this, that are maybe on that verge of, should I keep doing this or should I not? I know for me, I was broke every single day before I was a couple years into the insurance industry. Right. And so for me, it was like, I was already used to being broke. It was really no big deal. So I imagine for somebody transitioning from a career where there's stability and, maybe they're not, just over broke. Maybe they have a little bit of a career, but, going to that place where you're not going to make any money at first or you are going to make money, but maybe not the consistent money that you need. Right. That's the vision of what everybody's trying to achieve. And I think that you're right. The stick-to-itiveness that seems to be a trait that people maybe are losing a little bit. And maybe that's just never been around in the first place. I don't know. But the majority of people quit. I think, I don't know what it is in your industry. It's probably real similar. I mean, it's like, you got a 90% attrition rate of new agents that come in the P&C industry. Maybe it's higher in the life industry. But the rate of failure is what they call it. I don't think it's a rate of failure as much as it's just a rate of quitting. And gosh, if you could see then where you'd be at now, because now you've gone through 3 rebuilding processes, you've gone through, sounds like maybe several partners. You ended up buying everybody out. Now you own the place that you didn't have any ownership in when it started, right?
Right.
You literally worked from the absolute bottom to the absolute top. So if you had something that you could say to 1990s Brett Olson, what would it be?
Make sure that you put away 10% of everything that you make. And not that I haven't done a good job of building my retirement. I always say that fear isn't the best motivator, but it's a motivator that has always motivated me.
It works.
And one of them has been that fear of loss, or the fear of not having what I need at retirement, even though that's what I talk to. And it's funny because I talk to people about it every single day. And so it's just the school of hard knocks. The shoulda, coulda, woulda. Hindsight's always 2020. The real estate that I bought and sold and kept, and investments that I could have made or should have made or did make and lost money on, and the transition of, what the right thing is to do. And I can tell you that had I have done it over again, I would have made sure that in my 20s, I was making sure that I put away at least 10%, the very first 10%, or the second 10%. Pay the Lord first and me second. 10%. And I would be even that much better off than where I'm at right now today. Mm-hmm. The second thing would be that, if it's to be, it's up to me. And anytime that there's a challenge, everybody has challenges, but it's what we make and turn those challenges into that determines whether they're going to be a solution to the problem, or you're just going to find a way out.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with that. And, there was a few different exit points that were a potential, game ender for me in the insurance industry. Gosh, I'm sure glad I didn't take them. That's for sure. How many agents do you have working under your company right now?
So we have 13 offices currently. Each of those offices have anywhere from a handful of agents to over 50 agents in a particular office. Right now, this morning on my sales meeting, we had over 20 agents in my particular office. So we believe in the speed of the leader determines the pace of the pack. So even though I'm the CEO of the company, I still am out working both from a personal production standpoint as well as building my region, which we give everybody the opportunity to grow into. And then from there, you're able to build your own agency. And so there's no contract that anybody that's a part of our company can't have that would be any different than my contract, even though I'm the CEO of the company.
Okay. So, and then top sales earner in your company last year, what did they make?
They were over 400,000. It's been a lot more than that. But we're in a
that was just last year. And I mean, that's you primarily operating on appointments. Gosh, I imagine last year was challenging.
Yeah, big time. But we're in a rebuilding stage. We've had agents with our company that have been close to $750,000 to $1 million.
That was going to be my next question. So top earner all time personal income with your company, $750,000. So somewhere between $750,000 and $900,000.
Yep.
The checks you wrote to one person.
That's right.
Wow. That's incredible. If somebody's interested, let's say that there's an agent right now that's like, man, what an opportunity. I want to check into this. How would they do that?
Yeah. Go to Afortus.com And the specific person would be, we have a whole recruiting division, and his name is Jesse Woodcox. And Jesse would be and could be waiting for your call right now.
So spell that website out for us.
Afortus.com.
Okay.
And Jesse Woodcox is our VP of recruiting, and his phone number is 801-787-4284. That's his direct line, or email him at jesse.woodcox@afortus.com, jesse.woodcox@afortus.com.
Perfect. That's awesome. So to the new agent that is just starting off, that is thinking about not continuing on in this industry, and whether it's P&C or whether it's life health, what is your words to them?
There's never been a business in my lifetime to where I go around and I look at my neighbors, I look at doctors, attorneys, any other profession that's out there, and that I can see that they have the lifestyle that we do in our business. And it's the lifestyle that affords me to be able to do what it is that I want to do in this business. It's not about the money, but it's about what the money affords you to be able to do.
That's it.
And there's not a business out there that I've experienced that gives us the flexibility, especially now. Everything that we do in our business is 100% virtual now. And we made that switch day one as soon as COVID hit, March of 2020, and have never looked back. And it's given me another 4 to 8 hours that I didn't have in drive time on a daily basis.
You and me both. So my business had primarily gone virtual before COVID. We were really lucky, but I look at now agents starting off as Zoom meetings are the standard, right? It's not even abnormal for somebody to request that now. And yeah, same thing. I mean, I was driving all over. I was in the Pacific Northwest, but I was driving from Olympia, Washington to Salem, Oregon to hit an appointment at 7:00 in the morning, and then driving all the way back to quote the insurance and all these things. And now you can do 4, 5, 6 hour commute in 10 seconds. That's pretty crazy. That's crazy. Well, Brett, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. Again, his book is From Zero to Hero, Breaking Through the Barriers to Success.
It's not just that book, but there's also 2 others as well, too.
Living Debt Free and Save Money. Oh, you know what? I see here, I'm on Amazon. I see the Save Money and then Living Debt Free. I like it. That's perfect. Living Debt Free, Save Money, and From Zero to Hero, Breaking Through the Barriers to Success. That's the book I've read. Now I got a couple other books on my list, I guess. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy, and appreciate it a lot.
Thanks for having me. I'll be back anytime.
I appreciate it. Thank you.